Have you ever had a favorite slot machine, then one day you go to your casino to play it, and it's gone, moved, and an entirely different slot machine is in its place? That's so annoying. But what if I told you there's a winning strategy at play here? There is. We'll get to that in today's live stream, and of course, very shortly. And of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. I'm only saying that because, of course, the people who are live here now know it's a live stream. Uh, uh, but you might be watching this after the fact. Hello to you watching this recording. Thank you for being here, and be sure to subscribe for notifications if you can have your so you can have your questions answered the next time I do one of these. But either way, stick around, and I'm sure it will be of value to you, even if you are watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. If you have a question, use uh, hashtag question. That's so I can be sure to spot your question to me instead of comments in the live chat to each other. This is a community video, and lots of friends will check out how their other friends are doing. So there's a lot of crosstalk, and that's wonderful. But I need to be able to follow all of this somewhere in between. And to answer the questions that I'm already getting, and let me put that banner up so you have it. Um, those are the instructions. Um, uh, yes, so you're not too late, Tony. And hi, Dave. I know you've been very busy. And Steve, hello. And to you, yes, great. We're getting. Is it okay to say that this live stream is getting some regulars, even if it's only the second time I've had it on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. But you're regulars. Yep. Um, so be sure to ask your questions, and I will get to them. So it's you go into the casino and you spot you've been going for a while. Let's say you put the effort in. You are winning. You found a slot machine. You found a time. You found a day. All of that, as I talk about. Hey, Mary. As I talk about in the different ways that you can win, and what happens, you you go in after 100 times if you go every day or every other day, 6 months into it, and a couple months into it, and it's gone. Oh my goodness, all that work that you spent on that, finding that machine. Okay, my dog has a bone. um, Reminds me of a song. And he's hitting the mic stand. Yeah, okay. Come on. This over there, it's made entirely of bacon. Should have been my first clue. Okay. Right. So yes, your regulars. I'm saying that on the second Tuesday we have this. Okay, so uh, right, you go in and you made this effort to find a winning slot machine, and you succeeded, and now it's gone. But is it? I think that particularly if you get hand pays, you have an ID number, and the simplest thing to do. There's a couple things to do, and I'll explain what the winning method is. But um, uh, uh, okay, so if you ask a slot attendant, the easiest thing to do, not to confuse not to confuse the slot attendant. Okay, they're very busy. You don't have to get upset. Where's my machine? And but you can just say, I'm looking for, and then say the name, and then say what denomination it is, whether it's a multi-denomination or whatever, because they can look it up. They can look up for all machines. They can just call somebody and say, where do we have, uh, the particular kind that you've been playing, and they will tell you they'll give you a list. They'll say, "It's over here, it's for that denomination, and you can go find it." Now, I know this gets to be a bit of a challenge on a larger, casino floor, Hard Rock Tampa, Yamava, and others, WinStar comes to mind, and, maybe they moved it far away, and maybe there's several, so, you know, what I'm trying to say here is you can ask the slot attendant to find it for you, but it doesn't matter. I gotta I these topics that I go over are, questions that I've gotten on comments or emails or, here, and I thought that would be pretty interesting to talk to you about. Um, this person's machine that they were, uh, lately been losing on were moved, and they found where it had been moved, but they knew the casino so well that they knew that the machines that it replaced over by the other entrance were winning machines. Not the first entrance, the second entrance. The machines got moved from one entrance, more of a main entrance, and then moved to a second entrance, which was a smaller entrance to the casino. And they knew well enough the machines that they knew the ones it replaced were winners. But lately, they haven't been winning on them before the move. Okay, that's the scenario. And I say those machines that were moved that lately have not been winners were put in place of machines that were winners. And the odds don't move with the machine. The machines that replaced those first set of moved machines at the main entrance, because the ones that were moved away were losing, you can expect those that replaced it were losing, will be losing. The ones that were winning at the second entrance that got replaced by the machines from the first entrance, I'll try not to wobble the table, sorry. Those machines are now winners. Because the odds, the poor odds didn't move with them. So this is a variation, and I'm kind of throwing you in the deep end of the pool. This is a variation. This is a consequence. This is a decision, um, uh, uh, analysis, decision making analysis that you want to consider. That I know it's a favorite machine, but the odds don't move with it. So if you are on a machine and you are winning on that machine, you've worked hard to find it, it's, over in one section of a highly visible area, and you're like, I can't wait to go in tonight. Oh no, they removed it. It doesn't change anything. The machine they put in place of it, assuming they did, is a winner because the one they took away was a winner. And you could do yourself harm, you could expect to go look for that machine, find it by asking a slot attendant, et cetera, and put the work into it to find the machine that you had been playing that had been a winner. And what do you know? It's not anymore. So a lot of people have this, I'll say, misunderstanding that I don't want to be unkind. They have a misunderstanding that the odds are on a particular game. And so if they see a row of them, they think the row of machines all have the same odds, and they don't. Usually one of them, possibly two, usually one of that row of machines is the one with the good odds. You can almost, if you stand in front of this row of odds and you see one person playing on it, that's probably the machine that's the winner because you know when you're on a winning machine. And so that would be the first machine occupied. The people who take the machines next to it are the ones who are like, well, it doesn't really matter. And that's most people, but not you. So if you're on a winning machine, the machine that replaced it is also a winning machine. If it replaces a machine that was a winning machine, it'll be a winning machine at the new location. But only if the machines that were there were winners. You need to know these things. I mean, I don't mean to say you need to know them. I'm saying you need to know your casino well enough to know in advance that, hey, they took away those winning machines too. And again, change your thinking that it didn't move with the machine, it's the location that's priority. It's dependent the winning odds are dependent on the location, not on the machine. And this is what I'm trying to get into people's heads much better. I have my 5 spin method. I know it's popular. It works at 1 in 4 casinos, and I have to tell you, I'm not real happy with 1 in 4 casinos. Yes, yes, it's easy to understand and easy to use, and it's right there in the name, even though it's up to 5 spins, not 5 spins. And then what do you do? But it's very descriptive explanation in the title. But I've won a lot more hand pays by using a method that had to do with, finding machines that were winners. And one of the ways you can do that is to look for those that are prominently displayed. Uh, yeah, so if they move, you know, there's another kind of misunderstanding, which is when people, like games. I mean, Dancing Drums, other games where they're just like, it's got a pirate theme. I always love pirate themes. Wonder Woman, excellent. Favorite movies, all of that. That's called player appeal. Oh, sorry. Somebody wants to know, what do you do after you win on 5 spins? You move to the next machine and do the same thing. Basically, the 5 spin method for those of you who are new, and I have to realize this is a new time, for my live streams. Yes, I've done like 2.5 years of them, but that was noon on Saturdays, and people are busy on Saturdays, Eastern time. So it's more like 8 o'clock in the morning in California, Pacific time. But so I will explain that the 5 spin method is up to 5 spins. And if you win anything at all, move to the next machine. What the casino is doing is trying to give you a win so that you will do what comes naturally, spend it and what you brought with you and go get more. It's amazingly effective. It's a casino strategy. And so my 5 spin method, it's not exactly a strategy, it's a counter strategy to that casino trying to manipulate you to spend your hard-won cash. So when you win something, step away. Now, I say it like it's easy. The reason why 1 out of 4 casinos uses this method to manipulate you is because it works really well. People don't get up and leave. And hashtag question, please. And I know nobody's got the habit of doing that because I haven't asked for it in the last 2.5 years, but guess what? Now busy. Right. Awesome. Lots of people here. Good. And I'll get to your questions just a little bit. So when you do the 5 spin method and you don't know if your casino has tastes, those wins that they give out immediately, do minimum bet. I have a couple of videos. I did a video on the 5 spin method, and people commented, "Well, I'll just go to high limit and never been in the room, but I'll do that. And should I play the $100 machine?" And I'm like, "What? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Test low limit, minimum bets. See if they have it, because it's one of those all or nothing things. All the machines in the casino will have it if the casino has it. And so go test. I know we're all gamblers and we just want to go straight to the gambling, but I care about you, being at one of those 3 out of 4 casinos that don't have it. So check first. And please do me I know we're all gamblers, and that's why we do all this, but I'm just like, I was horrified. So the next time I made that video, I made explanations and modifications to it based on the comments that I'd gotten. I was a little bit horrified. Yes. Yes. Now, it's a 2-step process on the 5 spin method, because new to Tuesday nights, I want to make sure I say all this. The 5 spin method is a 2-step process. First, you have to find out whether or not your casino has it. If they and I would prefer that you spend as little amount of money as possible. Gone are the days when you could make a 1 credit bet on a penny machine and test 20 machines and spend $1, and that's long gone. I mean, there's a few places in the country I've been told penny machines are minimum bet is like 8 cents, and so it's awesome there. But for the rest of us, it's 30, if we're lucky, 60, 88, 90 cents minimum bets just seems to be going up. And that can be $25 instead of $5 or less. So what you want to do is see if your casino has taste. But that's the first step. The second step is, did you make money? Because if the casino wants to make things tight, they can make things tight. It's just that time of the day when everything is set to be tight. And so you could have tastes, but not make a profit. And what do you do then? Well, they can adjust it to be higher or lower during different times of the day, different times of the week. So you can run the minimum bet test to see if there's better times to get a return. But there's also this location strategy that I was just telling you about, how the machine that you found near the entrance or the cafe or wherever, I found them in various casinos and just wrote up the article saying 3 steps, it's like a treasure hunt. Well, there's a palm tree or the entrance to the high limit room. You turn left, you go 20 paces, you turn right, go 10, and start digging, or look straight ahead, and find a slot machine that's facing, this main intersection in the room. So I talk about that in location, how to find, and I even give a few examples from photographs that I have a license for to be able to show you, see, there. And I write these articles on going to various casinos and saying, it was obvious to me. It becomes really obvious. Now, the question that's hard to answer when I go to a casino, like recently, MGM Grand Detroit, is they had 2 out of what, 1,400, 3,000? I forget exactly how many slot machines they have in the building. That's, sometimes that's what you get. One at the one entrance, the other at the other entrance, and maybe a third at the biggest intersection. But then you get fire keepers where it's at least 7. And talk to Jason on my Saturday live stream, and he'll tell you all about it. And so you don't know how many you're going to find, but I just find the most prominent and look for those. And if you're winning, you're winning. Why would you go to another machine? Because you might win more. Once you're winning, you don't want to give it up, and then the casino takes it away from you. So what do? That position was where the odds were, not on the machine, on the location. All right. So as long as they don't take out your carousel or your row of slot machines with your favorite one there and turn it into a cafe or put up a guard station, or just like, it's open floor. If they replace it with a slot machine, that's still a good slot machine that you work so hard to find. It may not be the game theme that you wanted. Usually they change it to whatever they're trying to determine is most popular, because there's this whole player appeal thing, which is not the same thing as making money. And some people like, it's so awful, some of the things that slot manufacturers do, because were they making a joke? Did they deliberately misunderstand survey questions? Where they got a survey response from casinos who ask us surveys occasionally through our Players Club, and one of them got many results that they had heard from people saying, "I love bonuses. Please give me bonuses." And because you didn't say you wanted money, they gave you bonuses where it was like, pennies, $1.50 on a $2 bet, and you got 57 free games. It's like, what is that? Well, you said you wanted bonuses, but you never mentioned money. And I feel like they're pulling our leg, that they're trying to joke with us or something, the people got very upset at that. Yeah, okay, uh, I hope that I'm, checking something to make sure that we are, good here, and let me double check to see if um yeah, yeah, we're good, okay. Uh, yep, see, lots of comments, good. So usually I only talk for about 20 minutes on a topic. If somebody has questions, uh, uh, about this topic, please ask. Some people may join later. I won't repeat what I said because you can always review the first part of this. But let's go into questions now. If you're interested in the location method, that's pinned to the top of the live chat. That video on that topic, and also for those watching the recording, it will be the pinned comment in the comment beneath the videos, the comments beneath the videos, and that will be later. Okay, let's see what kind of questions we have. I'll jump to the top and keep an eye on things. Right. Yep. Lots of highs. People are saying highs. People are saying regulars. PNT Black, please use hashtag question mark so I understand when people are talking to me. Yes, there is new machines. Um, PN, PN, Pin Black um, uh, says, notice local California Indian casinos are quickly changing to new slot machines lately. Yes, what's happened is and stop me if you've heard this before, they had to get, it's been record revenues, but it's been record revenues for almost a year. And they made it all back that they lost, which really scared them. And then did it again, and then did it again, and did it again. And, they basically made back 6 times what they had lost and what they needed to recover from, because they were deeply scared. Now, I mentioned this on Saturday. My accountant, who you've all met in the live stream at the end of December last year, that he's a CPA, and he offered to come on and explain, uh, uh, the things that slot attendants need to know about income taxes and filing and keeping a record and all of those things. I can I'm not an income tax professional. Legally, I need to tell you that, but he is. And, that backs up what he says. And so I had him on the show just to be able to give you professional answers, and somebody who, job depends on being right in that regard. It's like I'm a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor, and I don't I don't practice, medicine without a doctor's license in some state. I can't give you medical advice, legally speaking, and I can't give you professional income tax. But anyway, uh, so Keith was telling me that his brother is also an accountant, and his brother worked until just a couple weeks ago, a casino in Pennsylvania, and he was being overworked, and he asked for help, and there wasn't any. It's just crazy times. And one of the things he mentioned is they have Pennsylvania has these new, not new, it's like 4 years old at this point, 4 or 5 years old, where established casino can start a satellite casino within a certain number of miles, and they don't need an additional gaming license. And that's one of the changes to the state regulations. They shared that this casino, which I won't mention the name of, had plans to do that, and then never made all this money. And 2 years ago, that thing that we all know about happened, and by gosh, it 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 they just never capitalized on it. And so they're scared. But now what we're starting to see for like the last month or so are casinos all over the country getting in new machines. So I thought I would talk about this topic today of what happens if your machine's gone and what does that mean when you work so hard to find it. And that machine, those good odds don't move uh, uh, with the machine. They stay at the location of that machine. So that's what you can do and to understand the location method, which is at just about every casino that I've been to. And I assume that that's what you found, and then you uh, now have a new machine to play, which should have the same results as what you had been playing. So I hope that's good news for you. Anyway, there's a lot of casinos buying new slot machines and putting them in, and this sort of thing is happening. Now, are they building the buildings? Are they doing their plans? All those plans seem to be delayed. The purse strings have loosened up to buy a few slot machines. They've ordered them. They started to come in. They're $20,000 each on the modern ones, and that's all expensive. But it's not as expensive as buying a construction and putting up a new building. And so all of that has been delayed because, again, if you take anything away from this part of the conversation, they are scared, and you can tell. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. um, Sugar Moon Garden, you're not very late. I was just getting into the questions. Right. And one down. Um, Hey, Steve. I happened to tell Steve when he asked beforehand. I was a little bit late getting the email out to tell you all, hey, as usual, second time in a row on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be here. And I told him the reason I was late was I was mowing my lawn. So if I sneeze because I have allergies, that's the reason why. Okay, Dave has a legitimate question. Which types of games do you prefer to play? Single line, multi-line, bonus games, etc. I never found a good use for bonus games. Yes, it's kind of exciting, but when you think about it, the machine isn't taking money in during bonus games, right? You made a bet, it started the bonus rounds, and then if it's a lot of games, it isn't going to be accepting any more money for the casino for quite some time. And who do you think is going to pay for that difference? It's I worry about machines that are the latest movies, because there's a license, it's a known thing. Licenses cost money. And who do you think is going to pay for that? The slot manufacturer who owns the lease, the casino who purchased the lease, or you? I'll give you a hint. You. So I worry about the odds being lower on those machines. And I worry about having a machine that does a lot of bonuses. Now, I have played a machine that had bonus after bonus after bonus because I worked hard to find the two winning slot machines at Miami Valley Gaming. And I played one of them, and it was bonus round, bonus round, bonus round. I played it for an hour. Bonus round, bonus round, bonus round, bonus round. And at 7 o'clock on a Sunday, it stopped. No bonus rounds. But I had line hits for the same amount. I just kept on winning. And it went from a whole bunch of bonus rounds to none for like the next half hour. And I'm like, that's odd. And then it wasn't, I think it was, I have to check my notes. It's in the report on Miami Valley Gaming. And then it got to the half hour, or was it the hour later? And then it just cut off. And I you can be on a winning machine, and then a time comes when the schedule changes and the odds are adjusted appropriately. And you don't need to have slot attendants, or slot mechanics adjust the odds on the machine like you do at riverboat casinos. Everybody else has got a central server, and it's just done that way. It's you don't have to have a technician open it up in front of you and take a few minutes and punch some buttons. It instead is while you're playing, the odds change, and it's really obvious when it's on the hour. Not coincidence, not coincidence. Maybe they'll someday they'll get a little bit wiser about not being quite so obvious. Um, so yeah, so I have my suspicions about bonus rounds, and a lot of people are asking for bonus rounds. They seem to prefer it over money, and I worry about that. Um, do I like bonus rounds? I have a fondness for Wheel of Fortune. And the people around me, when I'd get spins all the time because I was on a winning machine, and the big wheel would turn, and it really kind of found, I found it. I guess I'm being, talking about annoying things today. When the person standing next to me just shouts in my ear, "Big money!" because the wheel's turning, and I'm just like, "Oh, you had to ruin it." Now I won't. And I find it amusing to look at the wheel and go, okay, so as it's turning and waiting for it to end, and I'm like, what's the smallest amount? What's the smallest amount? What's the second smallest amount? It'll be one of those two, and then it stops on that. But I've had it stop on, and there's pictures on my website about stopping on the maximum value, $5,000, $10,000. That's happened plenty of times too. But when I get a spin every couple of minutes, I'm just like, you know, uh, 1 out of 10 spins, 1 out of 15 spins will not be the minimum. It'll be something like a hand pay. And I have that fondness, that fond memory at this casino where those were the winning machines. And uh, this was Horseshoe Cincinnati. It had gone to a Jack Cincinnati with the new owner, and now it is a Hard Rock Cincinnati. And I was there recently and didn't do a report because it was a lot of memories of hand pays. And I had my $300 burning a hole in my pocket. Went very fast, and I was like, "Oh man, I blew it." But if you go to the back wall of the high limit room, and this is true anywhere in the casino, but I was a high limit player, and if you go to the back wall, there's a bunch of Wheel of Fortune machines there. Take your $2,500 and play, and you'll get hand pays. Yeah, uh, that's what I did. 54 of them in 6 weeks. Great questions. I answered that question. Yes, Dave is asking about what type. Not that one. Dave had asked a second question, which is he's working to adapting location, and come back a week later and 5 minutes earlier method. It's actually the same thing. The location means you have to hunt for a machine that has a big view, and you have to find the main aisle, and you follow it to the biggest intersection where it crosses the second biggest aisle. And that aisle, you look around, the machines facing that intersection, a little row over there, a big machine over there, this, that, the other thing, where it's all pointing to it, and you go, it's one of these facing that aisle. So people walking down that aisle would see it, and the other one over on the other side where people walking up the other large aisle would see that. So there's two machines in that intersection. And all this is hard. Uh, all this is hard. I'm going to show that. Um, all this is hard, but it's the same thing as finding come back a week later and 5 minutes earlier after you saw an initial win. It takes all the thought out of it. I mean, you could look at those machines and say, "Hey, that's obviously a highly viewable area," but basically, if somebody wins, there's a likelihood that it's just a highly visible machine. Yes, it is possible for lightning to strike, and it could be, wrong, but you're expecting the odds to be better because a week later, it's the same day, which and every day of the week is a little bit different, as you know, as we've discussed. And so there's something about that schedule. You're trying to sync yourself to the casino's operating system, to the plan on where the odds are on which machines at what time. And the easiest way to do that with a no-brainer is to play the same machine that you just saw the win on. If it's your win or somebody else's win, come back a week later, start 5 minutes earlier and play through that time period on the same machine. Or if you've got W2Gs, look at the time stamp that there's a place on the W2G for a timestamp. They don't always fill it out, but when they do, you've got a record. If you've got hand pays, you've got a record that could be, for me, it was 54 hand pays in 6 weeks. I had all that information. Now, it wasn't 62 different machines at different times. A lot of them were 1 week later, 5 minutes earlier. And so it was only like 6 machines for those 54 hand pays. And that's what I'm talking about doing. Yeah, that's what we're talking about in this live stream about if your casino moves your machine. Well, if you worked hard to find it, stay at that location and play that new machine, because all the work you put into it isn't lost. We have another question. Even if the machine is in different denomination? Well, I have a golden rule, which is it's kind of unlikely. I mean, what they might do is put it in a penny machine and then replace it with a multi-denomination machine. That's happening a lot. In fact, it's multi-denomination machines are starting to be more in the casino than penny machines. Yes, one of the multi-denominations can be penny, 1 penny, 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, that sort of thing. And so you might see that kind of change. That's pretty common. But so what you're trying, so my golden rule of slots is don't spend money that you can't don't take money to the casino you cannot comfortably afford to lose. So if it's out of your price range, it's out of your price range. Doesn't change the fact that it's a winning machine, but you have to be able to play it a few times in order to get your wins, and you just want to make money at it. And if it's $100 machine, it was a 60 cent minimum bet penny machine, and now it's a $100 machine. That's obviously unless you're comfortable with spending what, $80,000 or something like that on a machine to try to win 250,000 or $1 million. It just scales up. I'm not saying you don't have the money. I'm just saying most people don't. So Nora says, is Election Day considered a special event day? A lot of people will ask me, is this event, or people, that other event, are these special events? Is it a holiday? Is it not a holiday? And will the morning after be a good time to go? And the answer is, if there were a lot of people at that event. So is your casino busy on election day? I don't know. And you might not know, but this is throwing you in the deep end of the pool, everybody. You are talking about advanced stuff. I don't think it's very hard. Maybe you need to take my course, but it is something you need to kind of change your thinking about. And if the casino's busy for any night, because of a holiday, because of a promotion, a car giveaway, RV giveaway, Firekeepers, that was fun. But then you go the next morning. And I like to go 3 times after a busy night just to see if they have that winning strategy. Remember, I don't have strategies, I have counter strategies. And so they're trying to manipulate you or do something for themselves under their operating system. And one of the things that they can do is need to do this accounting balance trick the next morning. Not really a trick. It's just what they need to do to sort of balance. You can see the explanation in the strategies. I will show you this. There is a. I'll share my screen. So this is my page, as though I am a stranger who has not subscribed. Please subscribe, but rather I'd prefer you liked this. So if you go to uploads, that's uploads, popular uploads, that's there, and then winning slots strategies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it goes on 7, 8, 9, 10. And those are my whoops. No.
The new best way to make money online that nobody's talking about is something you've never heard of before.
Stop.
It's using
I'm not supposed to show YouTube advertisements on my channel. Hopefully I won't get dinged for that. My apologies. Click something I should not have. Okay. So that answers that question, and also anything else that if you're wondering if you're having an event that does have that. Yep. Does and Sun in the Night question, does that work with minimum bets also? I think you're talking about the 5-spin method. Yes. Whether it gives a return, I've found the return is better when I do minimum bets. It takes longer to build up your bankroll, but I find myself building up my bankroll with minimum bets on a winning machine that I found. And then, I switch to max bets, and I slowly lose my bankroll, and I'm like, go back to minimum bets. It's not perhaps as exciting. Perhaps a hand pay is not quite possible when making minimum bets. It depends on the machine, but I was, it was steady income, and not to be denied. Do you think casino changes odds every half hour? No, I don't. I think that there's a busy night and they might change in a half hour. Somebody's being lazy. All right. And Mammoth Valley Gaming, I'm just like, why did you set it to a clock? People could really take advantage of that. And so I happened to realize it was on the time, on the hour. So if that doesn't convince you it's on a schedule, because every time, I would suggest watching for it. If you see your casino does that, then check to, reevaluate your winning machine on the hour, on the half hour. I mean, they manipulate you, and then I give you a strategy. All right. This is not a winning strategy. This is something for you to check. The ones where I found a major manipulation on their part, I gave you a major strategy in return. But there's also little things they do, and the little things that we do in response to those little things that they do. So tip, I guess I'll call it. Strategies are strategies, and then there's little stuff like tips. So be very careful about the hour and a half hour. Or if you're on a losing machine and you're like, I'm going to wait 5 minutes until it's half hour or on the hour, and then I'm going to play just to see if it changes. There you go. Question. Okay. Linda. Don't all games do bonuses? I play mostly bonus games, more fun for me. Yeah, people love bonuses, but I had this live stream a month or two ago where I talked about bonus rounds, and you're not putting money into the machine during bonus rounds. It takes time to play out, and the machine was only paid back at the beginning when you hit the bet button. So the machine is not making money for a long time. I mean, you hit a bet button, there's no bonus round, it's over. You can hit the bet button again in 2 seconds. particularly if you stop things from moving and just go, 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 go. I was hitting the bet button as fast as possible on Wheel of Fortune machines, just ending any sort of like waiting for the result. Just give me the result, give me the result, give me the result, give me the result. And people were saying, you're spinning a lot on that Wheel of Fortune. Well, one thing is I was on a winning machine, so the odds were higher and I would. But then I was just like betting as fast as I possibly could. Just bang, 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 not quite that fast, but just, let's move it along because it's a winning machine. Oh, sorry. Isaac has his adult voice. he's 3 weeks short of he's 7 days, 8 days short of 12 months old, and he has an appointment soon. But yes, he has his adult dog voice. So I apologize for my dog barking. Doesn't usually do that. Lately, he's been like seeing the squirrel outside. We have big windows, and he's just like, like my cats are just like watching everything. Okay, so where was I? When I right. Okay. So it's bonuses are very popular, Linda. And people want them. I mean, there's no kidding about it. People want it. And yes, you may have this. And if it's lower odds, the satisfaction of the players is guaranteed with bonus rounds. And if they have to lower the award of when they do pay out just to pay for that length of time, no bets were being made as it was just running with bonus rounds and showing them, then so I see a question that amuses me. I won't say which one it was though. I'll get to everybody's questions. Make sure you use hashtag question so I answer your question and not talking to other people. That when you are winning on these bonuses, they cost, and I just think that you're paying for liking bonuses, and that's okay. If your gambling goals, I talk about gambling goal, make money, have fun, and comps, and not often is it the equal on everything. Some people just like to go to have fun, or just go to get comps, or just go to get money. And some people are like, well, money first, and then close second is comps, and then very close. It's a different combination. If you want to have bonus rounds and you want to have fun, good for you. But I think the odds are lower because somebody has to pay for that. Different Linda, was with California casinos purchasing and installing new machines, do you believe winnings will remain tight? Slot machines are cheap. Yes, they're $20,000 each, but they didn't put up a building, and that's millions, right? So when you put in a slot machine for $20,000, you and in a mid-size casino in Indiana, that's machines make $518 per day, and that's after they gave back 90%. So that's a 10% that the casino gets to keep. Now there's still electricity to pay and employees to pay, so I'm not pulling that out, but it's $518, which is about $18,000 a month. 35 days is how long it takes to pay for a $20,000 machine. It's not a cost. If they're tight, they're tight for other reasons. But it's not like they spent much, and it's not like they didn't not getting it back just by installing it. Yeah. But construction means, if it's an add-on, then they have to close down part of the casino, and every one of those machines making $20,000, $18,000, $17,000 a month. How many you remove 5 of those, and you're just like, "Oh, the cost," and like I said, they're scared. So, that's why they're not building. That's why they're not doing add-ons, because the construction is shutting down machines, and they don't wanna do that right now. They're just petrified. Uh, yeah, it's a small cost and it pays for itself. So I don't see uh, that being the reason uh, winnings are tight. They're still scared. That's why winnings are tight. Yeah. Carlton. Hey, Carlton. Question. Lately, I've seen several machines with line and hand pays with no backup spins. What you're suggesting for playing these machines? Hey, I got a donation from. Well, I'll answer your question, Carlton. Sorry. Uh, that's great. Uh, Lately, I've. Um, uh, so you're saying that somebody walked away without spinning, without making a bet. Um, I think that a machine showing a win is a winning machine. There's people that say, "Well, it gave out," and this is wrong-headed thinking. If it paid, it's a winning machine, or lightning struck. Find out which. Make a bet. You can find. I've played a $100 machine that showed what was it? Something like a $40,000 win. And I saw it on a Friday night. I went Saturday night, and, it was still there in the high limit room, and then I went in on Sunday morning, and it was still there, and I'm just like, "Nobody's playing a winning machine? What the heck?" Because they thought, "Oh, it's paid out, and now, it's gotta not it's gotta" whatever people are thinking. It's like it's overdrawn, now it needs to do what? No. I put $100 bill, I made a 1 credit bet, and I won $5,000. Like I knew it was gonna happen. Um, yeah. I don't mean to get all riled up, but that's just sort of like, this is somebody was asking about, I don't think they had a hashtag question. Somebody was asking, "Do I think that this, machine is better, or this game is better, or this game is better?" And I'm like, "Who cares?" Don't confuse player appeal with a winning machine. If you like it, congratulations. I don't go looking for Wheel of Fortune machines because I won on Wheel of Fortune machines. I have a fond memory of Wheel of Fortune machines, but there was other reasons why, and I knew what they were, why I was winning on those machines, not because there was a Wheel of Fortune machine. Now, there is winning strategies as so-called advantage play slots, advantage plays, where, and it's not as often as you think. What is it? Ocean Drift or something like that. There are in progressive machines where you have a must hit by. There are reasons to play some machines that have to do with a strategy, but it's rare, and not the ones that I saw mentioned. But a lot of people think so, and it's such a waste of money. Well, I won over here, so I'm in this other casino. I'm going to go find that one. Great. I'm not arguing against it. Have fun. It's a familiar game. Good for you. But that's player appeal is different from winning. Just trying to steer you guys clear. Okay. So let me do this. If you have a question you want to get an answer now, then I will jump out of line, get out of the sequence, and I will answer that question next. There's also a membership on YouTube where if you are a member, I will answer your question second, and then everybody else after that. So there's a little symbol that shows up next to the live chat if you remember. I only have the lowest level memberships on my YouTube channel, and might cost you less to do a $5 donation. And I should explain so much because you're all new, pretty much. Some of you are regulars from other times, but this time is working for a lot of people, and I'm this is the second one. I'm happy to see how many people are here. That's great, and so I hadn't done a Tuesday until last week, and so this is a regular thing. If nobody showed up, then I'd be like, why should I be? But no, it's very popular time, and so I will continue Tuesdays, even if I have to mow my lawn beforehand and I'm a little stuffy, can't breathe through my nose. Okay, so let me back up to the most recent question. And thank you so much, Nora, for your donation. It really does help. I'm basically still pulling from my savings, trying to make this business work. There's been have you seen the Google quarterly report? And it's they have income come from advertisers buying ads. I don't do that sort of thing, but I do have ads on my videos. And when you're in the situation we're in, the economics, the first thing companies cut is ads. And so YouTube is hurting. Well, it's not YouTube, it's Google. Google owns them. And wow, they are hurting. And that means that my income is down. And I'm like, well, please buy my course. It's right over here. You can get my free guide, sign up to my email list, and you'll hear about it there. But you can also go to professorslots.com/30 days, and you'll see this, and every green button is access to my course, where there's a list of the syllabus, and on the prior page were the testimonials and all of that. It's been people are enjoying it. Let's see, Sunday night. How often? After how much spins, I know for sure if I'm on a losing machine or wending stead. Okay, I think I know what you're asking, which is, thank you for signing up, Gary. Which is, I have okay. So what I like to do, just no strategies. I just want to walk in, and to a casino. I see a slot machine that I kind of think might be a winner. I want to play it for a little while, but I want to see if it's a candidate slot machine. I don't know. It's a candidate slot machine. I need to determine. So I will make 10 bets. If I don't win anything at all, I'm done on that machine. Tough love. I've got to write this up. I'll call it tough love. And that's what it is. If you don't win anything in 10 bets, you're out of there. All right. But if you do win anything at all, then you make the decision to go to 20 bets. So 10 bets. If you win anything at all, another 10 bets. And in that first 20 bets, after you make them, you decide, is this good enough for me? Was this winning? I mean, not like almost winning. Am I making money? And if you are at 20 bets, you have to say, am I making enough money? Am I willing to continue with a tough love attitude on this slot machine? Am I willing to try and go to 50 bets, to add another 30 bets to your 20 bets that you've already put in? And I've sat next to people that I was training, I just happened to meet, and I don't often meet people, and half the time they haven't had my course, but I did meet with Chuck, who may be here tonight, and in Missouri at a riverboat casino. And you know what? He said that we got those three machines in a row. We did this to each of them, and one of them, like I was saying, one of them can be the winner, and all identical, but the one was the winner. So, but I said, "What do you think? Did we win enough in the first 20 bets?" And he said, "No." And I was like, "No, we got 2 bonus rounds and we made a fair amount of money." And he's like, "I would have preferred 3." So it really is an individual choice. You don't necessarily have to make much money, but you have to decide whether 2 bonus rounds are enough in 20 bets, or does it have to be 3? And Chuck and I had a difference of opinion, but he was, uh, um his approach is good. I'm tending to think that I might go that way. Yes, I'm sorry to hear that, love. I'll comment on this. I got $200 free play and then lost $5,000. That is unfortunate. Uh, and the hardest part about this is what my audience is finding out. They're winning, but they can't get out of the casino with their money because guess what? They've never won before. It's a new experience for them, and they found out how hard it was. And so they have to learn. And I have a couple videos on that I put up where we've had long discussions, 2-hour long discussions about it. And that's, you have to learn how to get out of the casino. Run, you know, you want a catchphrase, hit and run, it's you get out, get out, get out, get out. There's let's see, do I have not here, but if I go to here and I'll go to my latest article, right. So I will share this and I'll put you away there. So this is my main page and a video to welcome you and all that. My strategies are also right here under this entry. If you can see my mouse on small screens, understanding advantage play slots, basically updated that today for you. And over here on the side, if you're on a computer and you go to professorslots.com and click on any of my articles, you'll see this sidebar, it's called, and all the way down to the bottom is 2 of these boxes with a key that you would leave the key home, and I'll click on that. And there's a blue one and where's the black one? Sorry, I don't see the black one. There's 2 different colors here, and you can there's the little card at the top and folds in. There's a couple of caveats here. It only holds like 50 bills, which can be a lot, but it sometimes jams at 30. Also, it doesn't work well with Canadian money because Canadian money is a polymer and it's much more slippery. So a few things there that might matter to you. And so you can find those on any of my pages. If you care to, just Google it. It's a little hard to find the link on Amazon. What's the minimum amount you should bring to the casino for Mariah? Because of the rising costs of casinos, the rising cost of um, minimum bets and how it just keeps on going up, there really is it's like 60-cent bets that you want, and so $100, and then you get a chance to maybe play a couple of machines, and that's about it. I think most people are taking like $200, and it used to be, my old coworker used to tell me, told me how him and his wife would each take a roll of quarters, a long time ago. But it's penny machines are not penny machines anymore. They're just 60-cent minimum bets. Let's see. Nope, no question. Need to have a question. Dave, if you hear the roll up going from a distance, would it be a good idea to seek that machine out to make a note of its location and time? Yeah, that's one way to do it. There's actually many different ways that the casinos will tell you that somebody just won. They'll flash it across the screen where your player's card is at some casinos. Some of them will announce it over the air. Others will make a big, you know, some of them will tell you where the location is. Some of them won't tell you where the location is, but they will tell you the time. Or maybe there's a photo that they put up on these monitors so you can see past winners who signed releases to have their image used by the casino, which I kind of like. And you don't know. They're usually standing in front of their slot machine that they won on. And if you go to, thank you, Linda. I'll thank you properly in a second. If you look closely at those um, pictures, sometimes somebody is doing, there's my watch. The watch is showing the time, and you don't know if it's AM or PM, but you got the time, and so you can't use the little technical things. I'm sorry, I do the technical things. You can't use the pictures on the websites because the websites have reduced the picture resolution to nothing, and you can't read that level of detail. But the original photo, like on your iPhone, is like megabytes, right? High resolution. It's reduced for seeing those pictures on the casino website, but not on the big monitors, high resolution monitors that you would see in the casino. So that's where you want to look for those sorts of things. See what kind of information they're sharing, and if it has the location and when. And not every photo will have somebody wearing a watch, and not every photo will have somebody wearing a watch pointing it at the camera, but you'd be surprised on how many there are. And how many do you need, to take advantage of that? Oh, yes. So Kim, to answer that question, your question, let me thank you, Linda, for your super sticker. It is very much appreciated. Thank you for the donation. Linda gave a $10 donation. Thank you so much. But we had a question back here, and I need to find it. Let's see, where did you? Oh, yes. That was Kim. What do you mean when you said I go 3 times after an event? I mean that if the casino has a major event where people show up, I go the next morning, and I go to the morning after 3 events, because sometimes, that's right, I didn't make that point. Sometimes when the casino makes this accounting adjustment, they go to do it and they're like, oh my goodness, we guessed right. Wish we did that more often. We're not going to have to give out a jackpot the morning after. And so they could have it and then not need to use it. So I like to go 3 times after an event, not 3 times the next morning, but 3 separate events the morning after, just to make sure that it's not just they got lucky and didn't have to do it. And it doesn't have to be your win. You know, look around and see if the few people that are there at most casinos, and that somebody's winning, because that's great odds. That's then you're like, well, I guess I'm getting up early for whenever there's a big event, because I won 27. I won my biggest jackpot at 5:10 in the morning, because and the woman behind me also had a hand pay over $10,000, because I saw it wasn't 2 slot attendants, it was a slot attendant and a floor manager, which is when you need a floor manager when it's over $10,000. And then mine, when they were finishing up and walking past me, I hit $27,000, and I swore, and I felt bad about it because I don't usually swear. Do you? Okay, I'm not going to ask you what your swear word is because you might actually tell me. But my family has a special one for going into the ditch, and when we drive our cars into the ditch accidentally. I- please don't comment. Um, lots of banned words by YouTube. So that's what I meant by going through times. Thank you for asking me to clarify that. For a $600 bankroll, would you have a suggested per spin bet? Um, Whenever I go to casino the first time, I'm trying to find winning slot machines. I mean, if you're going to a casino that you never expect to go back to, that's one thing. Uh, but uh, but you know, if you are going to a casino that you go to regularly, then you've done a lot of work already, whether you know it or not. But if you've taken my course, you know the work to do. And so, uh, how much would the bet be per spin? Well, how well do you know your casino? You know, have you found the winning machines yet? Because then it's just a matter of like balancing how much you want to spend, but it's less of a risk, shall I say? If you have got it really narrowed down to the machine and the time, then you would bet max bet. Uh, it's it's not like you had to find a high limit machine and win. You had to find a machine that would win, and then see what its denomination was. You probably tried the minimum bet first to see if it was a winning machine, because it's in my experience, it's been more likely to find a minimum bet to be telling me it's a winning machine, where maximum bet actually, you know, doesn't make it a winning machine. It just maybe break even, maybe just lose a little bit of money. But that's okay if you're interested in earning comps. So, it's a step by step. I call it a slots journey. So it's a little hard to answer your question specifically. I would make minimum bets until you found a winning method. Search and search and search, and then make the most of what you have left. Steve S. Last December 11th to 15th, I noticed a new tall Price is Right machine installed on busy aisles in 4 different MGM casinos. I played all and walked away with a profit. Can MGM control individual machines? It's based on state law. The controls for MGM Grand Detroit, based on state law, is that it can't go over 100%. So that makes it hard to win. I shouldn't say it can't go over 100%. The theoretical payout can't be over 100%, but it can win. It just can't win um, uh, without being sort of a statistical oddity. When you don't have that sort of thing, it's a lot easier for in Detroit, in Nevada, and in Ohio. Nevada has a 75% theoretical payout minimum. That's not what they set the machines to. That's the minimum. There is no upper number. It doesn't stop at 100%. Now, yes, the casino would lose money if it set it over 100%, but they might have a good business reason to do that, to encourage people to go play the other 2,000 machines in the immediate vicinity, because they saw a big win on a machine they set up, and they can do the analysis and say, every time we do that, we make money. We lost because of a hand pay, but by golly, we won more than usual because we did that. It's a strategy, and it's a strategy to manipulate you. Can MGM control individual machines? Sure. It doesn't. So I'm trying to understand your question, and a lot of people have asked this. Can the MGM control the individual machines when you get on them? No. It's on a schedule, the schedule that was made yesterday or last week, and you happen to get on it when it was a winner, or you happen to get on it when it was a loser, but that's the schedule, and they use schedules. Part of the reason why they can't and I've talked about this before, player's card and all that. Don't mean to get everybody riled up. People say, well, can't they identify you with your player's card? Sure, yeah, of course, but they don't know what to do. I mean, I've talked to people about totally illegal, and they say, whatever, I don't believe that. Or I say, it's two different electrical systems, two different interfaces, and they're not crossing over to each other. They don't communicate back and forth with the odds of winning and the players club. And they say, yeah, it's all magic to me, so I don't care. And I'm like, okay, third option. The casino doesn't know what to do. There's people playing poker. There's slot machines that have money in them. They need to count it all up. You can keep track of a few things, but the casino doesn't know how it's doing on its financial performance metrics until 4 hours later. It's just not what they call real-time analytics. They don't know at any given second, any given minute, not even any given hour, how they're doing. So they could really mess themselves up by making you a winner or making you a loser. They're paralyzed. They can't choose to do that because they can really get themselves in trouble. I won't even get started on just how much trouble they could get into financially, because they're like, oh no, we turned off the odds on 1,000 people, and now our investors are going to fire us and get a new management team. There's dangers. But 4 hours later, they don't know exactly what to do, and you're long gone. Okay. Jerry, hi Jerry. I have noticed the bonus rounds come quicker often, but the bonus wins have gotten smaller, especially on Buffalo. Oh yeah, it's gotten small to the ridiculous amount where it's like 120 spins and bonus rounds, one bonus round, but you got 120 spins, you know what I mean? And it's like $2.30, and you're just like, but I made a $5 bet. And I have a Facebook group with 18,000 people, and boy, do those pictures go up, and people are like, look at this. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is terrible. And they have illustrated that for many pictures. If you go to professorslots.com/FB, FB for Facebook, you'll find all of my 57 Facebook groups. I cannot be at every casino. And, last weekend, if I went to 2 casinos in a week, it would take me 10 years to go to all of them. So what I did was I made a Facebook group for every state, professorslots.com/2-letter postal designation, FB, and the 2-letter postal designation. Either one actually works. And you can find out from there. You go to your state and find 250 people who are locals, who were there last night, might be there right now. And you can find out what's going on. It might not be me, but sometimes it is. But I do go to casinos and report on them. But any given state, any given casino, some of them have been. Yeah. Lynn says, I have won 3 hand pays on a bank of the same 6 games in a circle. Do I stick to only those games? Seems like I can't play win any hand pays on any other games. If you say so. When you have the same 6 game themes on machines that are set in a circle, 6 machines, and each one has 6 games, and you choose which one. I would, these are all details, right? If you are winning, do what you did. We'll figure it out later. Just keep winning. That's the important thing. Linda has another question. What is the casino's idea behind their placing high limit machines on the main floor and not in the high limit room? if you go to like MGM Grand Detroit, it was shocking to me that they had a dime denomination machine next to a $10 machine, that they didn't have the room filled with high limit machines. I know you said out on the main floor, but I'm just like, why wouldn't they have high limit machines in the high limit area? Why would they have high limit machines out in the low limit floor? What's going on? There there's always there's always these things, all right? Casinos don't have a lot of storage. Why? Because if they put a slot machine in that spot, it would make $518 a day, $17,800 a month. So the break rooms for slot attendants are small. They don't have lots of storage. So if a slot machine comes in, it goes out. It goes out to the casino floor. If there's no room in the high limit room, the best the thing that I'm thinking here is if there's no room in the high limit area, then they don't have any place to store it. It's not a good idea for them to have storage, so they put it out there. Got to get it started up, got to get it set up, let it run. There's no rule that needs to be in the high limit area. It just makes sense. When I think about the trouble this is going to cause the casino, but they're not thinking that. They're thinking we need to, get this out there and get it started up and get it running. But when people come along and they make the mistake of seeing a $10 machine and for some reason they think it's a dime machine and they hit max bet, for $30, that doesn't do the casino any good on reputation. Yeah. Yeah. Dean 0214. I tried the 5-spin rule at my local casino. It worked one week, but not the next. Does it change week to week? It's a 2-step process. Did you still get taste, but you didn't get a good return? So, and again, we're doing advanced topics tonight. They can turn it down, and a lot of casinos are seeing a lot of tightness right now. April, not so much, but in May, they've gone back to being tight. And so, if they turn it down, you can still get the taste, but it's like you made a 60-cent bet and the taste is like 30 cents. So you lost half your money. And so you don't make a profit. But so check. Well, do you remember? I don't want you to go back if it's not winning. But do you remember if you won anything at all? Did that part change? I would bet that it did not. But the amount that you won changed. So I have some friends who have just taken this to extremes. They now know their casino, whether their casino gives out tastes. They know if this works or not, whether it gives out tastes. And they make minimum bets to determine if it's a good time to get a return, because maybe the casino turned it down, and then they go home if it's not a good time. And they try another time later and say, oh, well, now it's turned up. And so this is how you sync yourself to the casino's operating system. I think that's what's going on. No, getting rid of the 5-spin method is a major event. They have to change the operating system. It's expensive. Everything has to be shut down. It just doesn't happen. So they just turn it down. So the tastes are small. It's like it's almost off, but not quite. Right. So me thank VREX. And hopefully you can't hear my dog snoring. Thank you very much, VREX. I do appreciate your donation is very much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, so he has a black cat for his symbol. I can't show it, but he has a black cat on the symbol. Okay, let me back up to Kim. Went too far back. Where are you? I will see. I lost my spot. Yeah, Jill is explaining this well. I just go to the casino. We'll come back in about an hour if I see people winning at machines uh, in the space, the one to go to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope that I'm not missing you, Kim. Found the wrong question, but so Linda says, do you think a machine that paid a 51,000 win would you try that machine? Absolutely. I mean, if it was within my price range, and if it's actually very easy because everybody else is like, well, I'm not going to play that machine because somebody just won on it. And I'm like, it's a winning machine. Oh, no, no, no. Now it's a losing machine. But you don't know that. You're just gonna assume, yeah, yeah, yeah. I do that all the time. What? Yeah, I would see if it was a winning machine still. And it's actually amazingly easy to get on those machines because nobody wants to play them. It's just like I just like wiggle my way through them and just like, thanks. There you go. Can't believe he's playing it. Jackpot Jade. Do you think that slot manufacturers have lost popularity now? That have lost popularity now have greater odds due to popularity of their competitors? No. That's a good question. Had to think about it for a minute. Popularity, they need their customer is the casino, and the casino doesn't play the machines. Now, if there is, a scandal, some reason, of any of a bunch of things, took flash photography of Sistine Chapel, and everybody's like really upset, not the casinos, but the fans, then maybe for a short amount of time. So there are things that slot manufacturers can do that can turn off players, but then the players have to sort of convey that by their actions, usually, to the casino, and that cycle behavior is. There are other things to do, whether a machine has a bonus round or not, that seem to be so much more impactful to players, and then that drives casinos to get those machines. So I just don't see. Yes, it certainly is something, but I think there's so many more important things that it either has to be particularly bad, something really bad that the slot manufacturer did, or just fell behind. One of the things that can happen is they don't pay for the latest games, that they try to save their money. And the best slot manufacturers talk about having a great library where they've built up a store of a collection of games that people like, and that can go poorly. That can go poorly sometimes because they don't have it, for instance. Interesting question. Try wearing a mask when you cut your. Thank you, Pit to Black, for my being so nasal right now. This is with a mask. You should see me when I'm not. It's like, I want to. When we got masks because of the whole thing a couple of years ago, I put it on immediately to do my lawn, and people were like, "Oh, he's wearing a mask while doing his lawn. How odd is that?" And I'm like, I wish I had this like 20 years ago. Yes, thank you for the advice. Appreciate it. Jerry says that he saw the return to player on an 88 Fortune machine at my casino. Uh, mm, Return to player is an ambiguous term. It can mean three different things, and I don't know which one you mean. Question: Has Miami Valley Gaming been profitable for you? Yes. I've only gone like once a year. My main casinos, the ones that I was playing high limits on, were Belterra Park and at the time, Horseshoe Cincinnati. I enjoy Miami Valley gaming. I stop by to see if there's a game there that one of you might have asked about. It's kind of my go-to place for like I wonder if that's something, and but it's I make a profit 50%. So when I was doing a $2,500 bankroll, well, let's call it $3,000 bankroll, which was sometimes was, I would come home with $4,500 on average. So I would make a profit of 1,500, half of my original bankroll, 50%. Then I would do stupid things just to see if they worked because I was trying to figure out how to do professor slots for you well before I started the business. And so that 50% actually went to 30% because I spent 20% just trying to, you know, throw the spaghetti in the wall and see if it stuck. And eventually some things did, and I documented that, and now I have all this stuff that I can tell you now because I was trying to build a business. But you know, as an aerospace engineer, I it's not enough. It's not, I mean, it's great to have $30,000, profit like that. First year was in 6 weeks, and I kind of wondered what would happen if I did what was it? I spent $175,000 playing that 5 times that 875,850 was how many points I'd earned. Uh, because it was times $5 on every $5 was a point. Is that right? No, that wasn't right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Anyway, the numbers were high, and the profit was 50%. Somebody, people contact me about winning when their slot machines by all the stuff we talk about, and they're like, "Well, it was only 50%," and I'm like, "That's it. Yeah, that's great." There's a lot of scammers out there talking about, you know, winning millions of dollars, and I'm like, machines don't. I mean, the ones with the really bad odds will have $1 million jackpot. But what are you talking about? It's $1,200 hand pays, $2,500 hand pays again and again and again when you're a high limit player, unless when you're a low limit player. Don't mean to take away the dream of winning the top jackpot on your machine, but I've only done that once in my life, and I never expected to get it again. I got 4,000 credits on a quarter machine in 2004, and never even got into the high range on high limit machines. There's a high range, a mid range, and a low range, and every 30 hand pays, 30, 29 hand pays would be from the low range up to $10,000 on a high limit machine, and then from $10,000 to I don't know, you know, $75,000, something like that. I call the mid range, and then above 75,000 to 150, $250,000. That was the upper range. I never hit the upper range. The mid range I got once out of every 30 hand pays, once out of every 30 low range hand pays, W2Gs. I would get one that was over $10,000, and one of them was $27,000. So yeah, that's welcome to slot machine gambling and winning at it. Hope that helps. Uh, let's see. Sean said, I heard you say last week that the casino let you win. I think it was in reference to whether odds are better using a player's card or not. Can you elaborate? No. No, casinos haven't let me win. They don't know me from Adam. I mean, yes, I use I don't have contracts with them. They don't have me coming in. I don't go in with a crew. Nobody comes up and greets me. Nothing like that. I don't know if you know this, but facial recognition doesn't work when the camera's on the ceiling. They don't recognize the top of my head. Facial recognition works on a ATM where the monitor is like 6 inches in front of your face, and then they just kind of like compare it to driver's license to see if it's you. So no, that's might have taken it out of context. Oh, oh, so I think I know the comment that I made. I win using my player's card just fine. I always have. I always use my player's card and always win just fine. Anywhere I go, new to me casinos, and it's not because they let me win. And that's just so whether odds are better using a player's card or not, can you elaborate? So the odds don't change with a player's card. It's factual. I already gone over it once today. They will tell you how illegal it is to do that, to do that directed changing the odds, and people don't care. It's just I don't care. I don't believe it could be legal. People do stuff, or whatever, and then you have slot mechanics talking about how it's two different electrical systems without any connection between them. Yeah, they're all magic anyway, whatever. you know um, uh, and so I try a third option, which is they don't know. They don't know whether to make it so that you win or make it so you lose. They're just not going to do that unless they know, and they don't know for another 4 hours. So um, I worry about your question. This is how rumors start. So I had Magpie 11, who's on the Saturday show, um, uh, and she is in Las Vegas. She or he is in Las Vegas, and she knew that the Brian BC was going to be there filming, and it's announcements and all that. And so she went just before it was kind of like before he went to his machine. She was there 10 minutes earlier, and she won 2 hand pays on it, on the machine that he was typically plays. And I also saw him give an interview talking to some other channel, and he was saying, well, people say that the casinos let me win. That's what I really worry about your comment. And they all laughed, and that's, of course, that's not true. And I'm like, actually, if they knew a week in advance when he was going to be there, just add it to the schedule and reach 400,000 people and get a good positive feel for that casino. The casino would want to do that. And I just thought it was like wonderful that I had a student who was just like, you know what? I'm going to go in 10 minutes earlier, and I'm going to take, and she's like, I don't know. I kind of took, his had jackpots. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. And like I said, this is advanced topics tonight, and I hope that makes sense to you. Make sure you ask #question. #question. More pay lines, less? Favorite number of pay lines? I'm new to anything beyond 3 lines. Doesn't matter. The game doesn't matter. There's the location of the machine. You want to make sure that you don't spend more money than you intend to. There's far too many people that hit that button, to make a bet and realized it was a high limit machine out on the main casino floor. Oh no, I just spent $30, out of my 100. Eesh. And so, uh, we look at a lot of people look at slot machines and say, you know what, there's only so many buttons on it. And, as human beings, we want to have control. And we say, well, it's got to be one of these buttons that'll make me win. Maybe it's the volume control. And did somebody say something? Wow, we've got a lot of viewers. It's like a record. Wonderful. And somebody says two more likes, and I'll have 100 likes on this video. Wow. So I'm looking for. I don't think I did this question. A 7-footman. First of all, thank you so much for the donation. It is very much appreciated. In all sincerity. 7. Are you 7 of 9? Sorry, a 7-footman. Do you think that some casinos raised their odds at the end of 2020 with all the, I can't say that word because I'll be defunded, relief money they received in 2020 because everything business had to spend the money, otherwise they lose it? Well, no, I don't think they did. They're scared, and the longer it's been, I mean, everything. Were you around? I was having live streams, and I was like, no one's going to show up to my live stream because all the casinos closed, and I had a record number of people up to that point showing up because they just wanted to talk casinos, and they were like, "Are they going to reopen? Are we going to have casinos again ever?" Kind of. And what does it mean? And what does it mean when they open? And we went through all of that. It's irrelevant at this point, but I thought we had some good conversations about what would it be anyway. I thought that was very on topic for those conversations. And so but all the casinos closed, and it was just short notice. People running around with clipboards writing down the numbers on the high limit machines, excuse me, the numbers on the progressive machines, so they could be reset once they're turned back on in a month to wherever they were located at. It was just chaos. And the initial fright, but then there was the long-term, what are we going to do? When are we going to reopen? What the heck's going on? And I've done some comparison of the return statistics. I did that at the time just to see, were they giving back money? And what we found was they saved money by not having free play. By in the return statistics, it's called promotional dollars. And they just shut that down. Nobody got anything. And people felt it. But they didn't change the odds. They changed them a little bit, and it was like for 2 months afterwards, immediately following it. So they did their best after they reopened. They did their best to get their money back as soon as possible. And my understanding is the relief money you're talking about didn't come till well after that. And at that point, the returns had returned to normal. Now we have seen a decline, and I've got stuff to show. I'm putting out a video every week on return to player, which is ambiguous term, but most people know that term, and it's the return statistics, and it shows for, I'm going back to the beginning. I finally finished Florida, so I got 25 years. No, is it 25 years? The commercial casinos have return statistics, and I went back to the beginning, and it's all kind of like grunt work. I have to cut and paste a million times, and so it took a while, but now I have it, and I'll add the most recent month when the most recent month comes out from now on. But I wanted to share that with you in a video today or tomorrow or something like that, where you can see that the impact that this period of closing all the casinos, what immediately followed. And I don't see that happening. Uh, I don't. Do you know when they receive the money? And that would certainly be, if they were to do this, that would be it. And look and see the states that have return statistics. 20 of them do, and see if it went up. But you have to know when they got the relief money. Where are we at? We are at good. I noticed that certain machines will be disabled at 12 a.m. at my local casino. What is the reason for this? What might be the reason for this? Well, it may be that they're going to replace them or move them or get rid of them or do something to them. And it's really handy for the accounting department if they don't have partial data for a day, right? They completed the day at 12 a.m. They shut them off, and it doesn't have like for 20 minutes. It kind of really messes with the statistics that the accounting department wants. So if you want to check my theory, see if those machines that turn off at 12 a.m. if they're gone or replaced, and there you go. Otherwise, I can't think of a reason why they would do that. Well, I mean, if they didn't want to replace it, if they just wanted to turn it off for a day, it's much better to turn it off at midnight, like I said, for the statistics for the accounting department, than it is to be like, well, we'll turn it off at 9:30 in the morning and then turn it back on, 9:30 at night, and then it was off for 12 hours. It's really kind of makes a mess of statistics. And so at the end of the day, yeah, that would be better, I think. I see. Thank you, Jerry. You have defined which term return to player of 86%. So that was not the return to player, as I think of it. It's the term that's tossed around. When I think of return to player, I think the player. What you're talking about is technically the theoretical payout. The state may have a minimum, it may have a maximum, it may have both, it may not have any. And so this is a theoretical payout. It is a setting. It is not the return to player technically, because it can exceed the return to player. Excuse me, it can exceed the theoretical payout, but the return to player is more of a absolute, and the theoretical payout is a statistic for the outcome. Actuals are the return statistics, and those can be what the past behavior has been, and I don't think you're saying what that is. So the third way, so it could be it's used incorrectly two different ways. One way is to use it instead of theoretical payout. And another way it can be used is for return statistics, which is what actually happened. And then there's a third way, which I think is very important, is you make choices, and you in your play, what is your return to player? You're not playing that one machine and making all bets on it all on one day. So you can't use the machine response, the return to player, or the theoretical payout, or the return statistics, because you didn't play that. You played a mix of them with slightly different theoretical payouts, and the actuals, being whatever they were, and what is your return to player, and that's very difficult to sort out. It's basically whether or not you're making a profit or not, and you know you can figure it out from what you took in and what you're left with, and whether or not what's your return. What is your return to player? And that's kind of what I think about that. Um, do, 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 do. Time. Okay, so questions. Jan, thought you were in error when you mentioned HHR in Kansas. Now there's a lawsuit by Boyd Gaming against the state allowing HHR machines under sports betting. You do your research. It's a fascinating topic. I got into a wonderful conversation with a floor manager at Derby City who explained all this to me and how Kentucky is doing a test case. And it's a quiet boom. There's others which are truck stops getting 5 machines, and they're just beloved. Even though Florida has these arcades with a few machines. Like I said, one machine, $518 a day. You get 5, for a month at $17,000, $18,000. These little shops are making big business, and if the police come and take them all away, well, if nobody's arrested, if the state law is not to arrest them but just take the money away, these are used machines that are not worth $20,000, and they just we don't want you to take them away, but we can get more because we made a profit, and now it's just cost of doing business. So there's a lot of truck stops getting machines, but there's also a lot of states that are getting in historic horse racing machines, which are based on parimutuel. Kentucky has these several places for this, but they prohibit slot machines, prohibit slot machines, but you can have horse racing. And so they follow the rules. There's no additional rules about, well, what if our horse race is on a machine? No, these machines fall under horse racing rules without any additions. And you bet they're keeping it on their radar because places like Board Gaming and others they're just going to be super mad. They're taking our money, and so whatever you can do to block them. It's actually worse for like tribal casinos where or companies that are trying to open a casino, and the casino that's already open in the state puts money towards their lawyers to block it. It's like a big thing. Hey, Irving, great to see you. Irving was on one of my podcast episodes, and I have to thank him. Thank you so much, Irving. I haven't seen Magpie 11. I sent you an email. She did want to have a chat with you. Normally she's on Saturdays, but I haven't seen her here today. Or she hasn't said anything if she is here. But it's great to see you. Thank you. Listen to my podcast on, let's see, we can do this, right? So I will type Professor Slots. ProfessorSlots.com/podcast. I will show you this screen. And this will be ProfessorSlots.com/podcast. And Irving was on the episode before last. Joe was on the last one. Kathy was 2 ago, and Grizel before that. These are all people taking my online course, and they have different things to say about their style of gaming. And I said it right here. Irving, conversation, high limit slots. Thank you for the $49.99 tip. That is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Right. More questions. Oh, all these questions. This is wonderful. Did we get to 700? We got to 116 likes, or at least I'm like a minute behind because that's how I've set this up. So thank you so much for all the likes. I really appreciate it. And where am I at? Bouncing back and forth. Yep. Episode number 163. And of course, you can go to your favorite podcast app, but I wanted to show you where it was on my website so you can go directly there. I am everywhere. Stitcher, Ghana, Deezer, all the odd ones. I make sure that I'm everywhere. Let's see. Alexa, Professor Slots. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. So if you have Alexa, you can just say, "Play Professor Slots," and my podcast will come up. I wanna check back where I was. It's a little hard to do a placemaker. Uh, right, so yep. VREX, I can't justify gambling on the phone apps. I think it's too easy to rig for everybody, but everybody I know have been winning lately. Should I join the hype or keep making trips to Wendover? Okay, so this is how you win on online slots. It may not apply to you because you need to have certain circumstances. Is it new to your gaming jurisdiction? Because if it's new, they want to get a bunch of people hooked. Remember, it's their strategy to manipulate you that I provide a counter strategy to. So they establish themselves when they're new to a jurisdiction to get people hooked. Just like brick and mortar casinos do when it was a cornfield and now it's a casino. We got to get everybody in their local area when there's never been a casino before. They got to get them hooked. And so what do? You let them win. They talk to the investors. They say, this is what we're doing. This is our strategy. You'll get paid in a month. At some places, it's only for a month. In some places, it's for a year. And they say, you're going to have to hold off because we'll make everybody go into bankruptcy later. But first, we got to get them hooked. And true story. They had a great first year at Horseshoe Cincinnati. There was a pretty good second year. Yeah. And the third year, all my friends went into bankruptcy because they thought it was them. They thought they themselves were lucky. And it was a shame. If you want to see more about this, it's professorslots.com/ABC27. I have a interview with Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Evening News, and we talk about the local Penn National, which has not had higher returns they have not had returns as high as they had the first year. It's just been less ever since. And isn't that telling? Carlton says, does it matter what time of day or night you play slots to win? Yes, but you have to figure out when that is. But if you notice something, I'm here to tell you it's true. And so you need to figure out what works for you at your casino. Because like I said, the casino has a way to manipulate you. Crowds coming in, lower the odds, it's quiet. You can listen. If you want to know, this is my strategies 8. If you want to know what's going on with the wins, just sit there and listen. If the place is crowded or the place has a certain number of people and there's no sound of winning, and then there is a bunch of wins and the number of people didn't change in any meaningful way, that's when you play, because you can't expect to win when nobody else is. And you can just listen for it. Except at Yamava, HR Tampa, WinStar, where it's just a dull roar. It's just a dull roar constantly. Juan, is Class 2 machines not regulated? And here in Florida, most casinos have bingo slot machines Class 2, but it's better Class 2 or Class 3. Thanks. Please recognize that there is Class 2 and there is Class 3, and there's different strategies. Most of mine are for Class 3, but I have, how do you get out with your wins? How do you have loss limits? And all that applies to both. Class 2 bingo machines, competition-based technically, is fewer techniques, and there's none near me. I think the closest one is one casino that is 300 miles away, and then there's like a 9-hour drive and a 14-hour drive or something where I'm like, I got to get out there, but travel funds are not quite where they need to be just yet. So please, if you don't mind, because I'd love to get my count up, and then I'll be able to go figure out how to win. There are some videos out there that, but they're not for me, about how to win on Class 2. So just recognize, like for instance, some casinos have both. More of an Oklahoma thing. That's what they like to do. And if you go to Class 2 machines, there. You play slot machine, you play machines there. You don't often know which you're playing because they might have half and half. And so the strategy depends on knowing which one you're using. And that's how it works. Let's see. Good to see everybody. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Briner, for subscribing. Did you press the like button? Okay, so where are we at? If you want to know what's going on at Cherokee, North Carolina, please go to professorslots.com/FBNC. That's Facebook, North Carolina, FBNC, or just search for North Carolina Slots Enthusiasts on Facebook and talk to people there. They're probably there tonight. And I'm not. I'm here with you. Okay, that's it. So where am I? Let me see if I can remove that. Yeah. Okay, that's it. What a great live stream. You'll see me at my next live stream at 3:00 in the afternoon on Thursday, Eastern time, 3:00 in the afternoon, Eastern time on Thursday. In the meantime, watch this video and on how to use my location strategy to win at your casino. That's for the people watching the recording later. Bye.